First of all, your slot machine's over in like 15 seconds. This is at least a minute and a half.
You're similar to the slot machine in bed. 15 seconds and just done.
Absolutely. You might make a little light show at the end of it. That's only if I'm seasoned up at the end. My mom was too cheap. She just gave us $3 to go into the arcade, and we had to have that suffice us for about 3 hours.
It's high quality shit we're talking here, Larry. Speaking of flashlight, have you heard of the grapefruit method? Or the Krylon Touch, that song from the commercial? Yeah.
Yep.
That shit ain't fun. I had somebody do that to me. That shit hurt really bad.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it either is going to fix your scoliosis or give you scoliosis.
The realm of beard loss, a trio strong and true. Yuban, Brandon, and beard loss with tales both old and new. Their whiskers like a forest, their knowledge like a stream, guiding us through beardom and culinary dream. Beard loss, the sage of facial grace, with whiskers flowing, setting the pace. Yuban, the jester in clouds of green, laughs and wisdom and sight unseen. Brandon J. McDermott, food daddy supreme, a feast of facts, a culinary dream.
We did it. We're back. Episode 2, I think it's 213 times for whatever reason. We continue to come back, and now it's pre-recorded, so we can say what we want and clip it out, and sometimes that's probably for the best. But either way, shout out to Deluxe Edition Network. Pretty sure we forgot to do that last week. Our bad. It's like they make one of us the podcaster of the week, and we're like, we're just going to forget that. So either way, check out the podcast of the month, which are some new ones. And I don't know what they are yet, but you guys will all know. Just check out the Deluxe Edition Network. Go find out for yourself. It's November now, the 2nd of November. So go check out the podcast in the month. I should have been prepared. Potentially looked it up, but I didn't. Maybe we'll edit and I'll put that in, but probably not. But either way, the voice you're hearing, it's me. It's Matt. Beard Laws. Over to the left of me is Yuban whacking off. Still whacking off. Where's he whacking off? How many times has he been whacking off? Potentially, did we have a conversation about whacking off before we press record? You'll never know because you weren't there. And underneath us on the camera, not below us, is Brandon J. McDermott. What's up, man?
How's it going?
Dude, what's up?
It's good, man.
Yeah,
it's good.
It's
I know we
cold.
don't get into sports, but I'm a Nebraska fan, and we got 5 wins.
I know, dude. What's upsetting is how many people in Kansas are very happy right now. I'm not enjoying that one bit. It was an impressive win, but I don't like Kansas being happy the slightest.
What's the deal with the pond? So for anybody that doesn't know, Kansas upset Oklahoma. Oklahoma was number 6, undefeated, had a chance for the playoffs at the end of the year. They got upset by Kansas, Jayhawks. Fucking hate those guys in basketball. The old trail when they beat Carolina in the NCAA championship, did a little pass back on no, that was Villanova. Sorry. Either way, still fuck Kansas. Then they tore down the goalpost, which is something that colleges do, and it's a really big. They storm the field and they do that. Is there something with the pond? Like I saw that it went in the pond. I didn't know if this pond was a special thing or if it was pre-planned. If it just fucking happened.
I don't know. Honestly, it's very, it's not very often they win, so I'm not familiar. I just know usually the football athletic department of Kansas, forbids the tearing down of a goalpost just because that's not in their budget. They usually don't win. So
yeah,
I heard somebody say Kansas is back. Back to what? Like
being the flattest state in earth, it's the most boring fucking state there is. If there is anybody here that listens, and you're from Kansas, move. Missouri's not great, but it's better than Kansas.
It's got to be an expensive fix, but granted, there's at least 10 kids that are on top of that goalpost that pay probably $60,000 a year to go there.
Yeah.
They'll be just fine. But again, I was just looking here. They took down the goalpost, which was just a wild scene. Thankfully, nobody gets hurt when they're doing this shit, but they decided to put it in Potter Lake, which is a small body of water just south of the stadium. They dumped it in there. I mean, there was probably 50,000 people all on their cell phones. I'm looking at Max Olson, Max_Olson, his X account, not the Twitter, formerly known as Twitter. Rest in peace. She also rest in peace. The dude from Friends. Didn't really know. Didn't know him, but a lot of people are upset about it. It's a tragic thing. Not trying to make jokes or anything about it, but I don't. We can talk about that now if you want. But I don't get why so many people get so upset, the celebrity died. That was my child. It's like, I know it's sad and all, but you didn't know the motherfucker.
I'm with you there. I don't get and this is something that's gone back a long time in our country. It's not something that's just because of the invent or the popularity of the internet. This worship of celebrity, I don't get it. But I think what it is with this is when somebody from your childhood that you knew or saw on TV passes away and dies tragically, of course. Mm-hmm. Matthew Perry was a great, that was his name, right?
Yeah, Matthew Perry, yep.
I get him and another Perry mixed up.
Katie?
Yes, that's the one. Juggo, as I call her. No, it's tragic. But what it does is it makes us in perspective. It makes us look inside and say, "Holy shit, this guy died. He was what, 52? Oh my God, I'm 37. I'm going to be 52 someday. I'm going to die." So it makes us, look in our own mortality and focus on that we're not here forever, So when you're, and not that Matthew Perry was anybody's hero by any means, or he could have been, I guess, but when your heroes die, it's a sad day, and it's definitely makes us introspective.
Yeah. They said he was in a hot tub or a pool or something like that. That had a heart attack or something like that, and I've heard 8,000 different stories. I think that was the last that I heard, that he had a heart attack and potentially drowned or passed away in a hot tub.
Yeah, I heard he played pickleball and then went to relax in the hot tub, had a heart attack, drowned in the hot tub. And I'm not. There's only a couple celebrities that every once in a while, whenever I'm like, oh man, I just wish he was still around. Like that one, like Robin Williams. I don't know why that one always, Chandler Bing. I don't give a shit about on Friends. He was great show, everything else, but I didn't really have that sentimental connection, I guess, as I did with Robin Williams. So those ones, I was always at home alone. Every time that there was a good kids movie or something, it was always Robin. Always, you're like, oh, that guy's awesome. My dad, I wish he was as cool as this guy. This guy's awesome. That hairy fuck, and I don't know. It's just there's certain ones that just don't stick with me. I feel like this one, I'm gonna watch Friends. I'm like, oh fuck, he died. I forgot about that.
Yeah. Did you ever call him Chandler Bong instead of Bing?
Oh, absolutely.
Hell yeah. What's crazy too is I remember that Matthew Perry, Matt Perry, whatever. We're not friends, so I don't know whether to call him Matthew or Matt. But coming from a Matthew, I prefer Matt. But either way, he spent, I believe it was almost $10 million on his battle with like drinking and drugs throughout his career. He had like dozens and dozens of different surgeries. He went to rehab, I don't know how many times, thousands and thousands of visits to AA and all this stuff. And I'm pretty sure I remember at one point he had like a 2% chance of surviving because of this extreme alcoholism that he had. Like he started drinking wine when he was like 14 years old, just like cheap wine, and obviously the fame and whatever else he had going on, just continually. Yeah, right here. The moment he was brought to an LA hospital, he was 49 years old, so 5 years, whatever, said he had a 2% chance of surviving that night.
Oh my God.
So, I mean, and if you haven't seen some pictures of him recently, I mean, he looked here, like, just look at this picture. And like, we're not trying to sit here and talk shit over, somebody that passed away, but this looked like a guy that lived a pretty rough life. Like he far from the Friends days, and terrible.
And hats off to him, to the man who made that much money and spent that much money on his own survival, on his own ability to say, hey, look, I want to change and I want to be different. Just how it all ended.
And he was very open too about his past and his recovery. And so, kudos to him as well for being so transparent and how it affects everybody, regardless of status. So like you said, tragic.
Yeah. I was going to get my hot tub later. I'm not quite sure because I used to drink quite a bit, but I haven't had a drink in a week. Might change that today. That might have to change it today. I just don't want the gout to come back, and nobody wants to talk about the gout. But either way, yeah. Matt Perry, Kansas. What a weekend so far. You guys have anything happen cool, exciting? Anything you want to share over the last week? I don't really have anything cool, but
I mean, I had a little date night last night. Just went to the casino, the casinos around here, not a lot of live table games anymore. Everything's kind of moving to the electronic versions, which I'm not crazy on. I feel like when I see the ball actually spin, and I know it's still spinning an electric machine and everything, but I feel like there's a way that they can fuck me that I don't know about. I don't trust it.
Roulette, you're talking?
I love me some roulette. Me some roulette. So I'm usually not a big slot player. I'll play a couple machines and stuff, but I always feel like I have no idea. They tell me I win, and I'm like, I don't see how. None of these symbols match. I don't know what the fuck's going on here. And so I usually play next to my wife, and what always happens is we'll each take the same amount of money, and she'll blow through all that. And then if I'm ever up, she takes half of my winnings, and then she continues to play, and that's usually what we do. And
marriage.
But whenever she wins, she's like, well, now I get to up my ante every bet because I have all these winnings. So I'm going to try to win even more. You're not going to get half of mine. I'm like, this is a fucking shitty deal here. So there I am going over the shame game over there and going to the ATM machine, just be like, oh, yes, I will pay another $5.50 to get more of my own money out. Yes, thank you. Thank you. But now last night, man, every machine I was on, every slot machine that I was doing, I was hitting like the little mini progressive jackpots and everything. And I can just hear, because we're celebrating her birthday. So all I hear is, and I'm like, It's like yelling bingo, being the youngest person at the bingo hall and they just get upset with it. She's just, every time I hit, she's like, hey, good for you.
It does suck going to a casino though, whether you're playing blackjack, roulette, or slot machines and just fucking losing nonstop. It is a shitty thing, but they are a lot of fun. We have one on a reservation like 45-50 minutes away from me. It's just far enough that I don't frequent it, but with online gambling here, it's probably just best that I just stick to the sports gambling instead of there. But I love roulette too, and we have VRs. We should jump on and play some virtual roulette sometime.
Fuck yes, I love that stuff as well. Usually I get the VR handles and I'm like rubbing my nips every time I hit something. So even I'm actually doing that, at the casino myself. My wife ended up watching me towards the end because she's like, how much you bet per spin? And I'm like, there's probably like $15 here. It's like, it's not crazy. And she's like, oh, you're making fun of my $1.50 a spin, but you're over here doing $15 a spin. And I'm like, first of all, your slot machine's over in like 15 seconds. This is at least a minute and a half. I figure it's about the same. And
so you're similar to the slot machine in bed, 15 seconds and just done.
Absolutely. It might make a little light show at the end of it. That's only if I'm seasoned up at the end. But it's I look over and I put $2 on a number and it hits. I'm like, oh, it's $70. So I look over and she's like, you just won 70? And I was like, yeah, your slot machine ain't paying out that shit. You're winning your 50 cents back or whatever the fuck it is. I'm like, daddy's over here making big bucks. And so one time I put $5 on a number, it hit. And I was like, shit, I'm feeling
5
good.
times 35, baby.
Oh yeah. So I'm over there. I keep cashing out my tickets, splitting it in half, cashing out my tickets, splitting it in half. So we end up breaking even at one point in time. I'm like, that's a win. That's a night out. We didn't spend any money. Let's just go. And we go have dinner, come back. We're like, oh, no, fuck it. We'll just spend half of what we brought in the original time. Still a night out. Don't spend as much. I win again, do the whole cycle again. She loses her ass. I break even. I go, let's go home. So ended the whole night. I think we spent 3 hours at the casino and broke even. It was a good time.
That is, even if you lose $100, that's cheap entertainment. Like, where else could you go have a couple drinks, some food, be entertained? Like, that's kind of how I see it too. I fucking love it. Now I want to go to the casino today, but no, why don't they have daycares? And maybe they do at some places at a casino. Like, bring the kid, let them just go to the daycare. It'd probably be a fantastic daycare because casinos turn out make a lot of money. Let them go swim in the pool for a little bit. Just do that. I'd pay $25-$50 an hour just to go. I'm not gonna say that out loud. People would pay $25 to $50 an hour just so they could go gamble for a couple of hours.
Well, they had this. It used to be called Kids Quest. So whenever I lived out in Vegas, it was like a pretty big, like a McPlay place of sorts, but in a casino. And they would watch your kids, put on the fuzzy socks. Hell, they could have them up to 8 hours if you wanted to. And I was like, what? My mom was too cheap. She just gave us $3 to go into the arcade, and we had to have that suffice us for about 3 hours. So
that's when you start to learn street skills. How can I get more money? What can I sell to get more money? How can I hustle to do this? It's like the youngest. We went to a trunk or treat. So she goes through the whole trunk or treat thing, gets a ton of fucking candy. She's a pretty cute kid, so she got a little extra candy. And they're like, oh, you so. So then we go in there because my cousin runs it was at a Moose Lodge. So we go in there and I'm just kind of chatting with him, sitting at the bar. And she's just like, Matt, do you have a quarter? Knowing I don't have change on me. I'm like, sorry, bud. And then next thing you know, every old guy sitting there and old lady sitting at the Moose Lodge having a beer. Oh, honey, here's a quarter. So she made like $2.50, right? And went over to get fucking a cup of M&Ms. I'm like, you have a bag full. So she walks out and she's sitting there. And of course, she's filling out. We have like Quick Draw in New York. It's kind of like Keno. Fill out the numbers on a piece of paper. She just fills them out, draws on them. And they're sitting there. And this one guy's like, oh, Quick Draw. What's your favorite number? She throws out a number. Pick another one. So this guy wins some money on it. Oh, you're so lucky. She walked out of there with like $5-10 and she felt rich. And she's just like, That's why I asked for a quarter, because I always get more. And I'm like, God damn, you've been around me too much hustling.
Little hustler, hell yeah.
Yeah.
And so you guys call them moose lodges up there? Okay, ours are
Well,
elk
we
lodges.
have those as well. Moose,
Oh, okay.
elk, Knights of Columbus, shout out Rotary. I feel like there's a new member of those. I think they're all nationwide ones. But yeah, the Moose Lodge, what's cool too, there's even one in Florida that's a resort. So if you're a Moose member, you can actually stay at the Moose Lodge Resort down there, and it's all super cheap. Same thing as an Elks Lodge, I'd have to imagine. But yep.
Gotcha. Okay, and if only there's a place with knuckles, like, oh, the old moose knuckle. Just
I think
there
there
was.
is one next door. But those jokes right there are exactly why we've continually been best friends, is because of that. And maybe you guys are looking at me and be like, why are these nerds, if you're watching this or just listening, then you can't see us, but we're all wearing best friend gang hats, best friend gang shirts, all different styles, because you know what, we've been the three best friends that anyone can have. I feel like that's played out, and these are amazing. These were sent over to us by the Best Friend Gang Supply Company. You guys can check them out on Instagram. You see it scrolling. If you're just listening, go to at Best Friends Gang Supply CO. They're on Instagram, or you can go to their website, bestfriendgangsupplyco.com. I'll make sure that it is in the description. I think it's a beautiful thing. I mean, you can look good, you can feel good, surround yourself with the ones you love. I mean, it's just a cool thing. And I think I could see this, like if I'm a high schooler still, like I could see me and my boys rocking this. All right. And not only because I personally love, and we were talking a little bit before, like the different fonts. I mean, we all have different styles. The shirts, the one Yuban has, just fits them. The two-tone hat, that little, like, I don't even know what kind of font it is. And you got the boxy look that Brandon's rocking. And then I'm just rocking, the standard font with a nice teal shirt that reminds us of Nickelodeon back in the day.
That's right. Well, and I like the I don't know why, but I like the logo at the bottom of the shirt too. I always like when they place something at the bottom too. I don't know what it is, but I like that. I'm a sucker for little details like that. I don't know what it
Yep.
is. I
And on
like
the
that.
side of the hat, they got them on the sides of the
Yes.
hat.
Oh, yes. Or
Yep.
if they have something on the back of the shoulder, like a little small logo right there, I'm a slut for that as well.
Yep, and I love the attention to detail. Even on the tag, you can see that on the tags they even have their company name and stuff as well, which I think is a really cool option that a lot of print providers are doing now. So you actually see on the back of the tag, they have their logo, their size, and everything else. And no, awesome. Thankful that they sent it over. So we'd love that if you guys would check them out. I mean, you can get a shirt for like $28. These hats are about $30 or $35. They're a high quality hat. Brandon, I know you're a hat guy. You collect a lot of college stuff. You do have a big old noggin on you because you got a big old brain, but it's a high quality hat. I mean, I love it.
It's high quality shit we're talking here, Larry. No, it's a great hat. And you see, Matt always wears good hats. My hats aren't the greatest, but you can see the threading on this. I mean, that is some high quality stuff we're talking here.
Yep.
And it's a really good hat.
Yep, and they have the trucker hat. They also have the like the white ones, black. They got a whole bunch of different stuff. So again, check them out. bestfriendgangsupplyco.com. Links in all of the descriptions, whether you're listening to it or not. Free shipping, US only. You don't even need a code. All right, the discount is going to be applied at there. I mean, that is another thing that just instantly hit me. They got a scrolling thing on their website and was like free shipping. Like, I mean, that's going to save at least $8 to $10. You know what I mean? That's more than a 10-15% discount that some of them offer. That's a $10 savings at least. So holidays are coming up. I mean, we're already in November. Maybe you want to hook somebody up for a little Thanksgiving gift. Nobody hooks people up with Thanksgiving gifts. Christmas is coming up, and happy Hanukkah to those as well. 8 crazy nights. You could get them 8 different things for 8 different days from the Best Friend Gang Supply Company. But definitely check them out. Great people. I've had some great conversations with them. And like I said, friend of the show. They sent us these hats and shirts. Can't be, you're going to see us wearing them a lot, giving them some shout outs. So again, go check them out if you want. We're not the boss of you.
And
but
what a greater thing to do than to get your best friend a hat and you have a hat and you guys are best friends together.
Yeah. And I mean, how many times have you always wanted to be in a gang? Why not be in the best friend gang? So you're not like get out there getting in trouble and shit. And you're like, wait, you're a gang? But it's the best friend gang. Like how many schools or people are going to be like, you're in what gang? The best friend gang? And you'll be like, that's acceptable. You're not going to get in trouble in school. I would have to imagine, being a guy that doesn't work at a school or has nothing to do with it. Maybe we'll ask Logan to come on the show and see if you're allowed to wear anything that says gang. But best friend gang. Come on. Just a bunch of friends being best friends, male, female, whatever else you identify. I don't know if the people, what are they? The furries. I don't know if they wear hats or whatever and whether they're shit in their litter box, but we'd love them to be best friends and everything. But
God damn it.
Well, they're shitting in their litter box.
I'm just glad that you guys took off your stickers at first because I'd already done that. And then I see both of you guys still have your sticker. I'm like, oh, shit. Did I do a boo-boo? Am I not supposed to take the sticker off? I know some people don't take the stickers off. So I was like, uh-oh, someone's going to give me a stern talking to about why I wasn't supposed to do that. And then I see you guys just go, I was like, oh, thank God. All right.
yeah, I feel like you're either all in on the leave the sticker or you're all out. Like I've always been an all out. Like I'm not going to leave them on there. I mean, at one point they would put them underneath and it was one thing. Then they, naturally started going over top and there's people that still do it. I mean, maybe I could see if you're a collector, you're going to collect the hat and maybe try to flip the hat. Hey, it has the original sticker on it. I could see, but it'd be one thing if it was a, best friend gang sticker where you were like, okay, I would leave that on, but it's the generic, just sticker hat, which, hey, they do have stickers for the sticker door, baby.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're, I don't know. I'm glad that you guys are because then when somebody makes fun of you, because that's what kids do, and then you go to take it off and you hadn't taken it off forever and it's on there, then you take it off, then you have that weird spot on the hat. Yes. That's a different color because of the sun and the natural fading. Then you just look even more stupid. But when you guys were in high school, was it the big thing when you were wearing the hats to smash the buttons on top of the hats? Or were you guys nicer than us? Because that was a thing. You just come up and you'd go whack. Because that friggin' hurts.
Shit hurts.
Yeah. And that was,
yeah.
No, dude. I've hit my head on like a ceiling and had that. Oh, that's one of the worst things in the world.
It does feel like a nail's going through the top of your skull. I'm not a fan of that at all. Ours was we lived out in the middle of nowhere too, so it was always people were always putting the fish hooks on there. I never did because I was a city boy.
What is that? Like, what is the people do that around here too. I still to this day, I'm fucking almost 40. I don't know what the fuck it's for.
I don't know. So it was always the extremely, built or the bent bill
camo hat.
Yeah, or Wrangler or whatever the hell it was. So they'd put the fish hook in there, and then a couple of them would always put like a cap from a beer, usually in the middle too. Either that, or it was always on the visor in the cars and shit like that. But
okay,
yeah, I don't know what the fad is.
Maybe it's like one of those international symbols to let other people know that you're in the club.
Oh, see,
I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I mean that's how you can be part of the best friends gang, I guess. I looked it up real quick. Okay, this makes sense. Fuck people. Now I'm gonna start punching people. I think I had the so according to Google, and I've been using Google. I don't know if you guys have, but I've been turning on the AI shit, so I don't have to scroll down and see all the sponsored shit. It pulls all the information through there. So you get this AI, it's experiment, whatever. So it says in most cultures, fish hooks on hats symbolize well-being and prosperity. They can be worn all around the brim of the hat. Then it goes on to the fish hook has a deep cultural significance in Hawaii and like the Polynesian Triangle and stuff like that. Apparently they've been on fish hooks since the 70s. They were available at tackle shops in Arkansas, but apparently it can also be a meaning that you support a group that is 3 letters in the alphabet that really loves the color white. That is fucking gross. So I would have to assume that many of these people that I have seen on it think that their country, think that they're, whatever else, probably own a Confederate flag and don't know the real symbol. I think that those people are probably doing it to be idiots. That would be my guess. I can't imagine the people that I've seen wearing a fish, and like now that I'm seeing it, are symbolizing well-being and prosperity and their roots to Hawaii. I think it's the later of the ones.
Yeah, and I'm sure there was a lot of people who were ignorant with the fact of the other meaning as well. But judging by where I live, I'm not surprised. Holy shit, I did not know that.
I didn't either.
You know what's funny about where you live, and we've talked a little bit about this, Yuban. Missouri is one of those weird states where some parts of it are in the South and some parts where you're at aren't. I've seen folks in my state here and in Iowa where I was before who've got the Confederate flag. And I'm like, dude, you realize that this is not the South. And I don't get that. But if we can change the subject a little bit.
I mean, now is the best time to probably change
absolutely.
You talked about hitting people on top of the head when you're a kid, like one of the things, the little look at this thing, game where you tap. Okay. How about this one? Did you guys have the Krylon touch when you were in school? Okay. So you took your knuckle and you would run it down somebody's spine.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yep.
You remember the Krylon touch, that song from the commercial? Yeah.
Yep.
Actually, it ain't fun. I had somebody do that to me. That would shit hurt really bad.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it either is going to fix your scoliosis or give you scoliosis. So, I mean, it was a double thing. Isn't that funny, though, how childhood games are the same no matter. See, I mean, we're all over the maps growing up. I mean, East Coast, Central, not really the West Coast, because fuck the West Coast. But all of the games are the same. Were pretty much a childhood. And we didn't have the internet. There wasn't, a kid making a TikTok or somebody giving you the stunner or nut tapping you or playing the OK game or all of those things. Like that's just kind of has always kind of mind fucked me how all of the kids have kind of done the same things throughout the country with the same shit and the whole like blow on the Nintendo cartridge. A lot of that stuff was just unnaturally embedded in our brain somehow, but it doesn't fucking make sense. I don't get that.
That you bring that up, and my wife and I were talking about some games that we used to play because we're trying to tell our kids, like, hey, get off the electronics, go outside, play some of these games. This is what we used to do. She mentioned this game. She's like, oh, no, just go kick the can. Go play kick the can. And I go, what the fuck is kick the can? And she's like, like if you kick it past here and it goes past a certain line, the other person has to kick it first. And I'm like, she's trying to explain it to me. I go, I never played that. So she was on TikTok trying to show me, and there was only like 2 or 3 videos with like 200 likes to show like this wasn't a normal thing. And I go, what the fuck were you guys doing? And I go, I think this is what happened. I was like, your dad was out in the shop. You were annoying the fuck out of him. He just finished an ice cold one and he threw it in the yard. He goes, oh boy, kick the can. Dad, how do we play? Just fucking go do this. And if he does this and kick it and you score a point, Then she's like, nuh-uh, that's not what it was. And I'm like, it was, wasn't it? And she's like, fuck. You might be right. She goes, no, she said, we all played this. And I was like, I never. Did you guys play a game called Kick the Can that wasn't literally just kicking the fucking can? Was there a game I'm unaware of?
There is an official game. I don't recall playing it, but Kick the Can is also referred to as Kick the Block, Guard the Block, Can, 40, Pom, Tip the Can, Tin Can, Copper, and Can Up, Can Down. So it's kind of like it's related to tag, hide and seek, and capture the flag. Played with as few as 3 to as many as several dozen people. It's a game of skill, strategy, stealth, and stamina. So you have a kickable object, referred to as the can, usually a discarded empty can. You can play it with rocks or whatever else as well, or people would put rocks in the can, apparently. Shout out Wikipedia. I'm reading from it. I just didn't come up with this shit. It was a pickup game during like the 30s and the Great Depression. Because you didn't really need a field or any other equipment. More or less, one person or a team of people is designed as it, or in the can of a similar object, paint it. Apparently, people really painted it and did all of this other stuff. It's placed in an open space in the middle of a yard, cul-de-sac, parking lot, street, whatever. The other players run off and hide while it or the can the person that's it covers their eyes and counts to a previously decided number. Then the game begins with the kicker literally kicks the can as far as possible. The person who is it must return the can to its original starting place before it can continue play.
Okay.
That way people have time to escape.
I
read it. I don't really get it.
I kind of get what they're saying. So like, I mean, so you have the person who has the can goes and hides it, right? While other people
or kicks it. Yeah, they go and hide, then they kick it, and then I think they have to return it, but while they're returning it or somebody returns it, they try to tag the people.
Like a freeze tag type of thing or something.
Yeah.
Okay. She was trying to explain this to me too. And I was like, no. And I tried telling her, I was like, that's just what everybody did in the trailer parks back in the day. And she goes, shut the fuck up. And I was like, no, seriously. And then every video she was showing me, it was in the park too. And I go, and she goes, shut the fuck up. She goes, this is a real thing. And I was like, I'm sure it is.
And the people that are tagged or, were touched by them have to go into jail. Or the holding pen.
She mentioned the jail. Okay, fuck. So maybe I am wrong about this. Damn, I never played that.
I never played it. There was a lot of empties. There was a lot of drinking in the area, but it was normally like go grab your glove and go outside, or go to the playground, or go shoot hoops. It wasn't kick the can. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like I'm gonna try this. I'm gonna slug a Jenny or Jenny Light, and I'm gonna say, all right, kids, go play kick the can, and see what happens. See if they instinctivly know it or not. You know what I mean? Because maybe, I don't know.
In my house, my parents, my mom and my mom's dad, my grandpa, they didn't allow us. I don't know if these kids today, we weren't allowed to be inside when it was nice outside. You go outside, get out of here.
Yep.
Get out of my face. I mean, I grew up in it, and this is I'm not one of those folks who are like, I grew up this way, everybody else should too. Everybody should suffer like I had to. I'm not one of those, but I'm just telling you what I had to go through. Was I lived in a childhood where I'm sure many of you did too, where children weren't respected and or seen as the most important part of the household. The parents were, the adults were. You were a child. Now, if you were a baby and you had to have the bottle, of course you were nurtured and everything else. But when you were old enough to get the fuck out of the house, you got the fuck out of the house. Mm-hmm. My grandfather, I remember him saying to this one time, he goes, "Go outside and find yourself, boy." The fuck? I chewed on that for about 25 minutes, just standing outside like, what the hell does he mean, find myself? Which is what I think he succeeded, because you wanted me to just have an existential moment, I think. But yeah, it was you go outside, and we didn't wait for lights, to the street lights. We waited for my mom's whistle. She's like, "You know the tune of my whistle, you hear it, you have 5 minutes to get home." We'd hear it, and we'd look at my sister. It was like the fucking bat signal. We went right.
Now, that was back in the day, because if you didn't get there in time, you were probably getting, I mean, when I was living with my grandparents for a while, it was a ruler, it was a frying, whatever it was, and you pissed her off, you were getting smacked for it. You had to be there, but Grandma was sneaky. You think she was slow and using a cane and stuff to get around, you get near there, oh shit. She grew up beating 8 kids of her own. She still had it by the time I was around.
Do you guys think about some of the chores that you had back whenever you were kids, and just think about your kids now and just be like, there's no fucking way they could do the same shit that we were doing back in the day? Because I know I was helping my grandparents mow at the age of like 11 and 12. They're like, "I just got my old Murray lawnmower. You'll figure it out." I came from Las Vegas. We didn't have yards. And I'm sitting there going, what the fuck? We had to mow this whole goddamn field. What is this? In this fucking slow ass Murray where the fucking exhaust is just burning your ankle. You know, I'm like, fuck. And that's what it is. They just tossed you on that shit, and they're like, go ahead. And I'm like, I could possibly die on this thing. Yeah, but you'll be all right. Just yell if you get your foot or something. You know, I'm like, okay, sure. And now if I think about my kids getting on my zero turn, I'm like, step away from my fucking mower. You're not touching this thing. I'm more worried about my mower getting injured than my children. I'm like, don't ruin my fucking mower.
Yeah. I mean, at that point, though, you know what I mean? You're trying to get the kids to get outside, you know, where they're already outside. And I don't know. I just think, too, there's so much shit going on that wasn't going on, too. Like we talk a lot, too, Yuban, where, you know what I mean? Like, this day you're doing this, and this with the kids. And then this kid has this for sports. And this, like, even when I was growing up, like, we didn't have all of these travel teams where we were going all over the place. We didn't play, like, you played the sport that was in season. If it was soccer or football season, you played that. And you had some new shit, and then that was it. You played outside with your friends and stuff, kept practicing. You didn't have these coaches that wanted to practice 7 days a week and play 7 days a week and travel 14 hours a weekend and just making it this whole huge thing. You let kids be kids, you know, and that's the biggest thing. And I me personally, not to get too deep, like I've seen some of these kids that like athlete. That's all they knew. That's all they did. You know what I mean? Their parents pushed hard. And now that they're adults, like they're fucking awkward. They didn't really have friends. They didn't have the chance to go and play and, you know, learn all those things. Yeah, they were really good at sports, but now what are you doing? You're working like the rest of us, but you're that fucking weird one in the office that doesn't really know how to, you know, cool, you know, what's the term, cooler talk, or you know what I mean, or you know what I mean. It just
the water cooler talk,
yeah, like you just kind of do there, and I don't know. It's there's a lot going on, but yeah, let's get the fucking kids outside. And the biggest thing with us too, you weren't feeling well. It was super fucking cold out. Get outside. It's good for you. You know what I mean? That cold air is good for you. It's going to make you healthier. Still not sure if that's fucking true, but do I use that? Oh yeah. Get outside. Get outside. Yeah.
That's it. Once my kids start fighting inside the house, I'm always like, just if it's nice out there, I'm like, get the fuck out. Go find something. What were we supposed to do? The Wi-Fi router don't reach out that far in the yard. You don't need fucking Wi-Fi to go outside. Go kick a ball or something. Or your mom's finishing a Dr. Pepper. She'll have kicked the can ready in about 15 seconds.
That's the thing. Kids don't know how to be bored. Like if they're at a, you know, the young, you know, the other kids are at a game. They don't know how to sit there and watch the game. They don't know how to go play with the other kids in the hallways. And I mean, we had a game that we made up through school in between this and that. It was called Locker Soccer. And what it was we find a random hallway where the teachers wouldn't find us. And we took because, you know, they had the wooden door jams, like the real ones that you could prop the door open with. And we would play 2-on-2 locker soccer, and the ball was the door jam. You had one that was a goalie, and then you had two people just battling each other through there trying to score a goal. Then you had it ended up being a thing where we were just different hallways, different times, and there would be watchers on each end of the hallway being like, teacher, you know what I mean? And then like we'd break it up and just go. We had tournaments, and it was just this weird thing that we did in between classes, during classes, taking, pee breaks or poop breaks or something. We just played fucking locker soccer in there. And we thought it was the coolest thing, writing it all down, brackets and shit. And we had construction. The construction workers were super into this. So they were watching. They were our watch out. And then they'd ran like, hey, can we jump in and play around real quick? I'm like, fuck yeah, hey, give us 2 smokes. You're in, bud. Here, listen, this got this industrial vent. We're able to smoke in this bathroom the whole time,
Hell yeah.
Yeah, that was fun. Shout out locker soccer. I haven't thought about that in fucking 30 years.
I used to work retail, so we had this one. I used to work for Sprint, rest in peace Sprint, no longer a company. But so we used to sell cell phones, everything, and when it was slow, we had this fucking it was like the bottom of a Mountain Dew case or something, but we broke it up into different segments that were worth different points, and we had this just rolled up piece of paper that was like taped really heavily, and we would have to sit or stand back like 15 feet. And essentially, it was like beer pong, but in a box of different points. And then we had a standalone solo cup that would be worth like 50 or whatever. And we called it sprint ball. And so every time, as soon as that guest would walk out, we're like, and back in. All right. And then as soon as the guests were walking, we're like, God damn it.
Game
we have
off.
to make a fucking sale. Like this was getting really, and then so if it was just one customer, all 3 of us would help that one person out. We're like, all right, let's hurry and get this motherfucker out here as soon as possible so we can play sprint balls. So that triggered a memory. That was like over a decade ago. I missed that shit. That was fun.
Great customer service. And now in between there, I mean, you walk in and you already get a phone or something. And in between there, what are people doing? Scrolling, fucking working the thumbs. It's fucking, I don't know, man. We sound super old, but we're getting a little older. But either way, it is fucked. Like I'm thankful for a lot of the times that we did grow up, and don't love the fact that you're seeing thrift stores and all these other places that are selling clothes and movies and stuff that was our times that are now considered vintage and like cool. You know what I mean? People rocking, Nickelodeon shirts or this shirt, and you're like, oh, cool. You ever seen that? No, I just thought the colors were cool. And it's like, oh, fuck you. Fucking
Yeah,
prick.
that's the same people that were always like, you're wearing the Nirvana shirts, you're wearing these band shirts, and you don't know any of the bands. I feel like, because even my kids, they've seen some of the older like Nickelodeon shirts or shows, but they rock some of the old like Angry Beavers and Rugrats and stuff like that because they think it looks cool and they know how much it means to us. But they've probably seen a handful of the the episodes. But they're like especially Reptar. Reptar's making like a comeback now. I've seen so much Reptar shit, and then what's the chick from Helga from Hey Arnold? Her and the little Cynthia doll. I've been seeing a huge comeback with that one as well.
What were some of the best kind of Nickelodeon shows? Because like for anybody just listening, if you're too young, you probably shouldn't be listening to the show anyways. But there's probably a lot of people that can relate to this. Like we grew up, Saturday morning, Sunday morning cartoons. The parents were probably a little bit hungover or whoever you're with, and instead of going out and saying kick the can, hey, why don't you just watch some cartoons for a little bit before we kick your ass outside? Grab some cereal or a Pop-Tart or some fucking Eggos. I think we're big, then. Just watching Nickelodeon. Nickelodeon was so goddamn huge. Was there a couple of shows that really like are just embedded that you can hear a beat or two of that song and you're like, fuck, it brings me back? Because I think we all have them, right?
Oh yeah, I mean Rugrats is definitely probably one of my number. That one, Hey Arnold, those are probably top 2 from my childhood, I imagine.
Yeah, Brandon, you got any
favorite cartoon?
Yeah. Cartoon show, anything that you just remember?
One that I can watch over and over again is Doug.
Yeah, Doug was good.
But there's quite a few of those Nickelodeon shows from early on that were just great. Real Monsters is another good one.
Yep.
Yeah, those are some good. That was a good time period for cartoons, and then that was early 90s, and then by mid to late 90s you had that Cartoon Network run where it was Dexter's Laboratory and Johnny Bravo and all that. Yeah.
What do you think was better, the Nickelodeon or the Cartoon Network? Oh, that's a debate. Because they were both different, but pretty fucking.
Yeah.
Whenever I was growing up, he hit nail on the head. It was, it started off with Nickelodeon with some of those ones, and then as you were getting like preteen, it was Cartoon Network. It was a lot of the rebellious of Dexter's Laboratory, Johnny Bravo type of stuff, and then it went weird to like Disney, to where it was like Lizzie McGuire type of shit, even Stevens and stuff. So it was I don't know. So I kind of went through all three phases because I think I went back to Nickelodeon again with like Fairly Odd Parents, Jimmy Neutron, stuff like that.
My dude, Shia LaBeouf and even Stevens was as funny as it got for a child.
Oh,
I mean, he was for teens like us. I mean, I was 14, 15 when he was around, so I was a little older than he was, but still, it was funny. He was a funny fucking dude. He had mastered physical comedy for a youngster, and how he would say things you would just believe, like how he would rag on
Ren.
yes, how he would
Yep.
rag on his friends were just great. It was fun. Great show.
It was it Beans that was in that
Beans.
too? Yes, yeah, Beans. Yeah, that was a good show, man. That was, even like the Lizzie McGuire stuff, like even that was like the chick version stuff. You're always like, oh, David Carradine as the dad, like this is badass. Like this is, I don't know. Disney had a good run for a while as well.
Who didn't have a friend like Beans, by the way, too? You know, that kid you just kind of put up with, the neighborhood kid, just kind of a little weird, but he was yours. You know, he was your friend.
There was also ABC, TGIF, man. That was a huge fucking night at our house too. Boy Meets World, Sabrina the Teenage Witch, all that shit.
Hanging
for
with
us,
Mr. Cooper and Family Matters, Full House. Later on, it was Step by Step, and and even here we are being nostalgic. Saturday morning cartoons on ABC, like Recess, that was good. Pepper Ann, that was good. You know, there were some good ones.
What was the other one? The Kids Next Door, Spy Kids, or whatever the hell it was. They had some of those. Yeah, those were cool.
And then even Fox had some good cartoons on Saturday mornings. Louie, the Life with Louie, or whatever the hell the show was, the cartoon.
Oh yeah,
like Bobby's World. I mean, there were some good ones on the X-Men was great. Spider-Man was great.
Captain Planet.
We had a run in the 90s of just, and there was some negativity of it. Like we definitely got sold to by the big national, conglomerate companies, but Hasbro, thank you. But I mean, we had a lot of good cartoons and shows throughout the 90s that in early 2000s that these kids just won't ever see again, basically because it was a handful of stations, Nickelodeon, Disney, and then you had the regular TV stations on Saturday and Friday night. They won't see that anymore. Now you get Bluey, and that's all right. I don't really get into that like the other parents do, but there's nothing quite like that that kind of catches you. That even as an adult, you kind of watch it. Here's a question: what's a show that we watched as a kid that you rewatch and you're like, oh my god, there was some humor in there? Because there's a few cartoons that we had that.
Jimmy Neutron is one of the ones that the way that the parents always talk to each other. I'm trying to think. I know what you're talking about because we'll rewatch something and I just go, I don't remember that being in there. You know what I mean? It's just because now you understand it or whatever. But what are some of the examples?
SpongeBob's another one.
I was gonna say SpongeBob has to be, and I never watched it as a kid, and we don't really watch SpongeBob. So, some of the kids in the house like it, but there was one too that I randomly popped over because I'm trying to do that. You know what I mean? They have the channels where they have the vintage shows, the shows that we grew up on. So when I don't normally allow like electronics while we eat, but if it's a Saturday, we're busy or something like that, we got some time to kill, I'll throw on cartoons that we grew up on. You know what I mean? And the other day we were playing the Jetsons. And there was just some cool stuff, like, because they don't quite get it, but it's like, could you imagine trying to write something, back then that you thought was going to be, there, like the flying cars and all this futuristic stuff. And it's kind of cool. Like some of this stuff is there, but some of the other stuff, it's like, that's pretty far fetched, but still would kind of be cool.
Yeah. And honestly, those Hanna-Barbera cartoons, those old school ones, like those ones touch my heart too, because those ones were the vintage ones when we were growing up. Seeing those on and seeing the kids even enjoy some of those ones now, it's like, damn, those ones still can stand the test of time. Those are some good classic cartoons.
Animaniacs was a good one too.
Yep.
Yes. So no, but I'm with you, Yuban. Those Flintstones, the Jetsons, the Wacky Races, those were great. I remember in the early 90s, it was like TNT, I think, 91, 92, 93, where 4, 5, 6 o'clock at night, they would play Pink Panther. Yeah. And I don't know if you remember that, but I never grew up to Pink Panther. I was born in 86, but I got to watch the reruns of it. in the early 90s. And I mean, even watching a cartoon with literally no dialogue. Legit Tom and Jerry, same deal, right? I mean, like literally no talking, no dialogue. But you don't need it. You've got the music, you've got the sound effects. You know,
we stepped right over Tom and Jerry, Bugs Bunny, Wile E. Coyote. Like those ones were fucking cool too.
And how does it make you feel to be the old man now to say, "Oh, these kids will never understand"?
Yeah, and you know what's crazy though too is to think about some of the adult cartoons as well, like The Simpsons, South Park, Family Guy. You know, because those were I was a kid, you know, even when those were out still, we all were when a lot of those were introduced. So it's kind of cool to see that those are still running even and still coming up with. And just the Family Guy making the comeback after the DVD releases, you know, I think because they had what 2 or 3 year hiatus. So, and now still one of the larger ones to date. Crazy.
Yeah, we were big Simpsons. It was like our thing. We would watch the brand new episodes of Simpsons at night. What was it, Sunday night or Saturday night? You know, Sunday night, you know, parents had been watching football, drinking beer all day. So they would Ma would take out some cookies, like the dough ones, scoop them on the thing. We'd have cookies, watch Simpsons, a little bit of milk, off to bed you go. You know what I mean? So that was always a thing for me, which was kind of cool. And Beavis and Butthead was big in our house too. Even as a kid, parents were like, hey, you know, we'll let you watch this shit. What's the worst that's going to happen? Yeah. Beavis and Butthead. But I was just looking up too. We were talking about the Jetsons. I thought this was kind of cool. According to blog.3ds.com, 10 things the Jetsons got right. 60 years ago, whenever this article came out, it said that they wrote this. It was in there. Flying cars. They obviously predicted George Jetson commuted to work in a flying car. They're not obviously available for everyday commuters, but apparently eVTOL vehicles, electronic vertical takeoff and landing vehicles, are in development, and they have electric air taxis in the plan and all this shit. So I guess they're fairly, and they have vertical airports, where travelers will board electronic air taxis, which is in Singapore, Paris, London. But apparently they're coming to Miami and LA. So that's probably why we don't know about them. Kind of a cool thing. Vertical cities. They had the Orbit City. Obviously, urban planners and all this stuff. They're modeling towers, and you going to start using this technology coming up soon. Smart bathrooms, which we have, you know, a lot of the stuff with the dispensers and stuff like that. Robotic assistants, which we have Roombas, iRobots, all that shit. Not to the extreme of them, but a lot of them. Smart homes and appliances. We got a lot of that smart home shit that they use. Video meetings, they thought was mind-blowing. Now it's an everyday thing, thanks to COVID. 3D printed food is now a thing. They can 3D print a house, too. I don't know if you've ever seen that. That's pretty cool to watch. Jetpacks. They got the jetpacks out there now. Flat screen TVs. Nobody ever thought they'd be flat screen. They are. And dog treadmills. There was apparently an episode with Astro, the pet. Instead of going for a walk, George Jetson didn't want to take the time to do it. So they got him a dog treadmill, and apparently they're a thing.
That's crazy.
Isn't it? Could you imagine, like, if we all tried to predict something right now that would happen in 60 years, how fucking terribly off we would be? I mean, you have enough guesses, kind of like people are like, well, the Simpsons, of course they're going to get shit right. They've been guessing for whatever. It's like, well, I mean, eventually just being able to predict, it's pretty fucking impressive.
It is like the Simpsons have been like pretty accurate on some things too, like eerily. Like it's weird. So I don't know. That is the Simpsons will stand the test of time as well. Bart Simpson, Butterfinger, those go hand in hand.
You aren't kidding. Fucking you just picture, you know, the opening scene. He's drawn on the chalkboard, and it's not like you could pause it back in the day and see what was there. So I'm right up by the TV trying to read it real fucking, you know what I mean? You know, because you don't get the replay, you don't get the run it back, you don't get the option of going, oh, I'm gonna watch this episode now, because you only watch what they're putting out there.
Right. And now, does Homer still choke the shit out of Bart though? Is that still a thing, or did they take that out yet?
I haven't seen a new episode, to be honest.
Me neither. I didn't.
I've got I only watch like season 2 through, you watch season 1, nothing wrong with it, but I only watch season 2 through 7 or 8. And I've got them all on DVD, and I put them in all the time. My wife and daughter are like, "Good day, can I watch Simpsons?" My wife doesn't say that, of course. But
okay,
she call you daddy.
Daddy,
not going there. Touch it.
So apparently, according to Google and this great experience in the latest episode of The Simpsons, Homer mentions that he no longer chokes his son Bart. The show explains that the long-running gag of Homer strangling Bart has become less frequent in recent seasons. So apparently, why Homer no longer chokes Bart, he just apparently was like, he was going to go do it, but apparently he just said, just kidding, I don't do that anymore.
Okay.
So
Okay.
they took it out.
Gotcha. I figured. And there's still one song in The Simpsons that every time it's somebody's birthday, it's always that "Happy Birthday, Lisa." I don't know it every single time. That's probably a 20-year-old fucking Michael Jackson, because I think he did actually sing that one too, right?
He did make an appearance. I'm not 100% sure if he sang that one, but he did. It was his voice on an episode. Yeah.
Okay, yes, that one that is still stuck in my head after so many fucking years. Every time it's somebody's birthday, guarantee if your name is Lisa too, I'm humming that tune.
Yep. And nobody, I mean, people our age will get it, but not a lot of others. But fuck, that's good. I mean, I do have to kind of throw this warning out there for you, Ben, because we're talking vintage, which triggered my brain for thrift stores. And I saw this article where there is a thrift store that is really urging people to stop donating their used and unused sex toys. So I just, if you've been doing it, apparently it is in, it's the Barnardo's store in Gorson, Swansea. Have to imagine that's European somewhere, because I know I didn't say that right, because I can't even say Oregon right. But they had to put out a message that said, "Could those of you who kindly donate please be mindful that they are a children's charity, and as such we have a range of ages on our wonderful volunteer team." So more or less what's probably happening is people are donating these sex toys, and some very young people are donating their time or forced to be there. Maybe they did some shit and are seeing the donations come in, and that's what they are. Could you imagine going through your brain thinking it's a good idea to just drop off a random donation of sex toys to a thrift store?
Yeah, I'm an empath, so I feel for people who may not have those, but yeah, that's gross. No.
Mm-hmm. I mean, they do need clothing and children's toys, but they don't need your sex toys. So if you guys could stop donating those. I mean, I have to imagine you would just throw them away. Like, what do you do with an old used one? Right? You don't.
I mean, are they biodegradable?
I don't. If it depends, I guess, on the material.
You can just use it to make your pancake better.
There you go.
I never understood how you can find used underwear at thrift stores. That too is
that's a whole different market. What if what if you know how people buy used underwear, and then maybe they slide into Yubans DMs and they're like, "Hey, I want to buy your underwear," and you just send them something that you found from a thrift store and have them believe. I mean, technically it's your used underwear, but it's not worn Yuban underwear. Is that like a loophole?
I think it could be, but honestly, though, I feel like I would get into that game regardless. I would sell my underwear, and I'm gonna put an ad out there. I think that needs to be something. People want to buy mine. The only thing, I just rarely buy new ones because I'm at to the point now where like mine just look like Swiss cheese between the thigh. I mean, they're just holes everywhere. They
I
are
thought I
just
was the only
beefy.
one.
No, my wife gets on to me a lot too. She's like, "Can you just go buy some fucking underwear?" And I was like, "Yeah, I might in a couple months. Maybe these are still
They're
good." And
expensive.
she's like, "Your nuts are literally hanging out one side of your fucking underwear." And I'm like, "Yeah, it feels good. No, they're okay."
I mean, some support is better than no support, because I've had the same conversation. She's like, "Why do you even wear them at this point?" I was like,
Yeah.
"It just feels weird not to." But she's like, "You're essentially wearing an elastic band."
It's
You just wear.
honestly, it looks like a banana hammock at this point. It's just like a piece of thread, just like kind of just separating the boys a little bit. And she's
That's right.
don't even like. So, how often do you buy underwear? I guess for you guys, I mean, I can honestly say it's probably been a year since my last purchase of a 3-pack or a 4-pack of underwear, at least.
It's been a hot minute, but I'm the type of guy that I fucking hate doing laundry, and unless I get motivated and do all the laundry at once, it's easier for me to go buy another pack of underwear or wear a used pair an extra day or two instead of doing the goddamn laundry. So I have way too many pairs of underwear, way too many socks, way too many clothes, because I just keep buying clothes instead of doing laundry. And when you do content creation, people send you clothes. so I can wear another shirt, or you know what I mean? They got the best friend gang shirt, and that I can rock a little bit now. And jeans, you can wear those multiple fucking times. But yeah, I got way too much underwear. But I recently went through the thing where I donated like 7 to 10 bags of clothing. So as I'm going through them, I was seeing all of this underwear, and I was like, fuck, I got to get rid of them. So I did have to go out, but thankfully one of the stores that rhymes with fart had like a crazy sale on some pretty and fucking comfy. I mean, I went from like those cheap boxer briefs, you know what I mean, that aren't very good, to these like spandex almost boxers. You know what I mean? They're fucking comfy, and they haven't ripped out yet.
Spandex is the way to go.
Oh,
Love that shit.
Fucking fantastic.
So with your old underwear, what my grandmother used to do, though I don't recommend it because I do have a haunting remember. That's why I started giggling whenever you talked about your underwear. So the my grandma used to cut them up into little oil rags, is what she would do to old T-shirts and his old underwear. Well, the one time I'm going through the pile and I pick one. There is a little bit of a stain, and I'm sitting there with my grandpa helping him with the lawnmower and shit. I'm going, really? He goes, oh, I must have used that one already for the oil. I was like, no, you didn't, motherfucker. But that's what she was very big. She, grew up in the Great Depression. We didn't waste anything. So it'd be old little like white beater T-shirts and stuff or whatever, and just that was oil rags.
That would be awesome. Go ahead, Brandon.
I was just gonna say, Grandma saved everything, man. She used to save pudding cups to use for when we would paint with our watercolors. She would save all the newspaper plastic that would come around it. She would save them all, wrap them up tight with the rubber band. I mean, she would save everything. Twist ties for bread. Yep. You name it, she had something that she was doing with the shit. I was like, Jesus Christ.
They lived through some shit. They knew how to be resourceful.
She also told me the term on the rag back in the day literally meant because they had a rag that they used. And that was theirs.
Yep.
And reused.
Yeah, wash it and sometimes hand wash it. Yeah, it was different times.
Rinse, wash, repeat.
No, I was just saying it would be a very embarrassing / haunting present. Save all the old underwear with those. Have somebody crafty. I'm assuming your wife, not us, or just YouTube it or send it in and make a kid or make somebody that you just want to be like, what the fuck? Make them a blanket or a quilt of your used beat up underwear and talk about some tragic and some laughs. Or give it to just give it to somebody randomly. Give it to a friend. Maybe you'll get a package one of these days, you guys, and it'll be a quilt of my underwear.
Do you think that maybe they'll tell stories of us like, man, my dad, he didn't like spend a lot of money either. He wore his underwear until there was nothing left. Just like, not just lazy. I'm just fucking lazy. Underwear expensive though. Last time I went, like a 5-pack, even at Walmart for like fucking Hanes or Fruit of the Loom was like $16. I'm like, God damn. I'm about to just start free balling.
No. And then you get to like those cool ones, or like there was like Swag Box and all these other crazy ones. They're like $15-$16 for one.
Yeah. No. I've heard the Duluth trading company though. I heard those. So those are like $20 a pair, and everyone said those are fucking worth it. They're made out of old fire hoses and stuff like that. They are, and they're for like big boys too. They got some. They even have some like thick bands on them. And everything. It is everyone that I've heard that have purchased underwear. They're like, hey, I know it's super expensive. Treat yourself.
My brother Christ, I am not spending $20 on no draws.
That's what I'm saying. It's been 5 or 6 years since they've told me. I still have yet. They're like, it's like Victoria's Secret for men. They're like, these are just fucking amazing.
If you have to justify that hard that you spent that kind of money on a pair of underwear, you fucked up, and you're just trying to kind of cover your own ass. No pun. But could you imagine spending $20 on something that one fart could ruin, and you had to throw away? Yeah. I mean, I'm with you. I don't want to spend $20 on a 5-pack, let alone $20 on one. With that being said, if there's any companies out there that want to send us a $20 pair from some haters, it's like, hey, if we're these guys that don't believe in ghosts and you want to make us go there, bring us on a ghost hunt and prove to us Duluth or these companies that your $20 pair is there. I will put on one pair of underwear and wear it as many consecutive days without washing for an experiment for you to see how long it can truly last without ripping out the insides of the boxers. So I'd do that for you.
For science.
I'm
looking it up now just to see exactly how much those underwear were worth. It's 30% off everything right now.
Still
Spooky savings.
Still not going to do that. Best friend gang, you get into the underwear game. Hook us up. We'll be the best friends gang rocking your underwear. That is a thing that I've seen. That's kind of weird that a lot of content creators, they've done hats, merch, shirts. Nobody's really tried to really push an underwear line that I know of.
We can call them cummies.
There it is.
The underwear
Now
you get.
available at you'beenwhackingoff.com.
Yeah. So I did look too, and they're upwards of $32.50 a pair. They're graded with the discounts. It's lowered them down to as low as $15.75 for some, but the majority of them are hovering around $22.
I couldn't imagine paying $22 for a fucking pair of underwear.
They better wash themselves.
Right.
For that much.
Huh.
Or come with a built-in fleshlight. Oh, now that's a fucking idea.
Oh.
Look at it just.
I'm gonna let you develop that one.
Have you
That's
always
something-
heard of the speaking of fleshlight? Have you heard of the grapefruit method?
No, explain.
Well, it's not when you're solo; it's when you're hose low. For fellatio, she's supposed to cut out. I've heard about this. I've never done it, so you just bear with me.
For the record,
Supposed to take a half a grapefruit. Not all of us can make it through a full grapefruit. Okay, no, supposed to take half a grapefruit and cut a hole in the center and put it over the shaft, and it's supposed to help so they don't have to go through too far, and probably makes it taste nicer too. But yeah, some lady on TikTok was talking about it, and I was like, "Ooh, this is interesting."
huh.
Okay. Shit.
Favorite that video.
Did you just write that down on your grocery list, Yuban? I thought I saw you write that down.
I did. I put 4 grapefruits. You know, the only thing is though is I need to go get them myself, so that way, whenever she goes to Walmart, I can experience that with myself as well for the grapefruit to try it out. I'm afraid though, something's gonna wind up in a pee hole, and I'm going to wince.
Yeah, that's what the first thing. I mean, juice, the acidity into said pee hole could not check it out. Okay, we do that. Yeah, it's just what would be more awkward, seeing your wife going through the store with a bunch of grapefruit or a bunch of pineapples that are upside down. Which one would you be more upset about?
Pineapple?
I feel like the pineapple, because the grapefruit is
Yeah.
in theory for you. So you know what I mean? Like
So from what I heard, if you go camping and rich folks and campers.
I'm watching the video too. It just sorry.
Yes. But if you go camping and you notice that somebody is laying out a upside down pineapple on the outside of their door, that's an open invitation for you to come slam their wife.
Swingers.
Yeah, they're not only campers, but that's like a thing huge in Florida. I have some family members that are a little bit older. They live down there, and they talk about. Sorry, we're watching a YouTube video that we cannot show you. And Brandon said, "Just go check out 2 minutes and 40." I went right to 2 minutes and 40 seconds, and
The noises.
that was the laugh. Interesting. Okay, for science. Yeah, apparently that's a thing with the decorations. The upside down pineapple is a big thing here. I just wanted to throw out one thing. I know we're over our time, but a Florida segue that I wanted to throw out there, just in case anybody down there wants to register. There is an event down there that starts November 15th. So at the time of this comes out, you only have a couple of weeks. It is the Florida Man Games, and it's based on the headlines inspired Florida Man meme. Listen to these events. Are you ready? Competitive events at this are scheduled for the games include the weaponized pool noodle mud duel, the evading arrest obstacle course, the category 5 cash grab, the beer belly Florida sumo, and a head-to-head race called a Cadillac converter, 2 bikes, and a handful of copper pipes. Former American Gladiator stars Dan Nitro Clark and Lori Ice Fetrick are the judges of this competition. This is real news. And if people want to register, you can go to thefloridamangames.com. Make sure you do not switch any of the words, because I would have to imagine if you switch any of the Florida Man with games and other things, you might get inappropriate sites. But again, check it out, thefloridamangames.com. I want to get a hold of some people in Florida, get them signed up. They can represent Team Beard Laws, and I want to see if any of them can do the Cadillac converter race or the weaponized pool noodle mud duel.
I feel like we gotta send McDermott down there to do live field reporting of this event. You know, kind of like, do you guys remember the Most Extreme Challenge, talking about retro stuff? Just like that's what we need. We need like a highlight reel of him just dubbing over just all of these people, giving them random nicknames and everything else. This is what we need in our lives.
Oh, the deadline is the 15th, but they expect to pick final teams by the 30th. We got to figure out when this event is. We'll follow up next week. And it's February 24th, 2024 in St. Augustine, Florida. I might be in Florida around that time. If I'm there, we're going to do a thing. My parents are renting a place in Florida in all of February. So we might go down there for a week or so just to get away from this fucking place. But all right, so February 24th, 2024, if we're in or around the area, we're going to do live field reporting for this event. We'll figure out how to get, we can become vendors, we can register, we can get be sponsors. There's tickets. I'm going to hit up the people and be like, hey, can we be part of the media team? That'd be fucking, we'll go live from there. Oh shit. We're going to Florida, everybody. If you guys could just go to the Patreon, start donating so we have enough money so we can send the three of us to Florida to cover this, because you're going to want to see that. So anybody in Florida, we'll do a meet and greet where we'll give you a pair of our used holy underwear for free. We'll bring them all. TSA is going to love going through them because I'm going to get pulled in that special room anyways. But either way, that's an episode. Go check out the Best Friend Gang supplyco.com, and we got a YouTube video to finish watching. So can't thank you guys enough for listening, watching. Yuban, Brandon, appreciate you guys, and that's all I got. You guys got anything else?
Yes, I do want to say something. So if you probably have noticed this photo above my head here, my daughter watches her small TV here, and she's in here and she's like, "Daddy, it's Daddy, it's Daddy." And she knows I have another photo of me over there too, which is actually one that says Fat Daddy at Brandon J. McDermott, which I'm going to put up at some point. She's like, "Daddy, you got that daddy and another daddy. Daddy, you got two daddies." No, I don't got two daddies. I thought you'd get a kick out of that.
No, that's good.
Only one daddy. But hey, shout out to the people that are living with two daddies and two fathers. So good for you, because those daddies can be something different. But you got anything else? Yeah,
I was saying, speaking of daddies, I'm going to try to make several people Goot this week, my daddy, in the Steve Winwood Fantasy Football League. So for those of you who are interested in some football and like to listen to a little shit talking with some fantasy sports, feel free to check out the Steve Winwood Fantasy Football League.
Hell yeah. Just a bunch of guys, 10 podcasters, one dream to be the champion. And all right, that's all we got. Hopefully you guys are good. Keep your sticks on the ice. Be good to your wiener as always, Yuban. And see you guys next week.